What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Truckin' with Tuffy, the web series on my channel where I babble on about absolutely nothing and struggle to find topics to talk about while you guys watch me drive a digital truck. Riveting. So today we are going to haul this load of gravel from San Diego, California up to San Francisco. So let's jump in our truck and let's get going. Parking brake off. Put it in drive. Balmy 5:50 in the morning here in sunny San Diego. I don't know why. I was actually kind of excited when I knew that they were going to put San Diego in the game, but so I was a Marine and I went to boot camp in San Diego, and I think there was part of me that kind of was hoping that maybe they'd include the MCRD Marine Corps Boot Camp Depot in the game, but of course they didn't. But say la vie. It's still. I didn't get to see much of San Diego. The only time I went out into San Diego was I was going through the School of Infantry up at Camp Pendleton, which was about an hour north. And one of the weekends, one of my buddies illegally had a car. You're not supposed to have cars while you're in training companies there in the Marine Corps. But he had gotten his hands on a car, and we drove down to San Diego and kind of went and saw some of the sights. It was pretty cool. But other than that, didn't really go to or around San Diego, so whatever. But it was still kind of a cool town, still very, very big city. I like coastal cities. Slam on the brakes there. Make sure we can see the red light, because I can't see with that visor. I'm kind of thinking about removing it. If I scoot the seat down in the game, then I can't see the hood of the truck, and I can't see up over the hood, so it blocks my view of the road. C'est la vie, short guy problems. So in the game, one of the things that they have told us they're going to do is increase the map size by about 30%. Now what that comes from is people have complained that the map is too small, that it's too quick to get from one location to the other. There are trips in Euro Truck Simulator that you can, because it's got all of Europe, you can take a journey from, say, London to Poland, and it'll take you a good hour and some change, in real world time. So a lot of people ported over to this game because they are fans of Euro Truck Simulator, like myself. And one of the things that they're complaining about is, the fact that maps, a journey only takes you half an hour to 45 minutes to complete. That therefore it's too short. The current map itself, in terms of square mileage, is actually about the size of Rhode Island. So it's not very big, and that, of course, encompasses all of California, Arizona, and Nevada. I'm kind of excited about that. I kind of like the possibility of, journeys taking a little bit longer, but I'm not quite sure how that's going to work because, these three maps are they're kind of small right now, but what's going to happen when they open up the United States? We haven't gotten the 30%, and we don't even have a date for it, really. They haven't come out and said we're going to, do it on August 1st, or we're going to do it on, September 30th. So if I had to place an estimate, if I had to place my best guess, I would say it's probably going to happen October at the latest, or at the earliest. But I think one of the things that they're doing is I think they're trying to release a map pack. The game got released in February, and then I think it was like late May or early June was when they finally released the Arizona map. So it was only a couple of months, and of course it's they've got people that are working on the game kind of round the clock. And so if they can wait a couple of more months when they expand the map itself, I'll bet you that we could potentially get another map. They could release the map DLC. Of course, this one won't be free the way that Arizona was. Arizona and Nevada were free to us players upon game release. We would actually probably end up having to pay for whatever map pack comes out next, which, like I've said in previous videos, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem kicking SCS software, $10, $15 to keep making a great game that I love. But at the same time, it's like, well, what happens, when we can finally start making runs out east. A run to Kansas can take quite some time, and I'm sure that, as we level up in the game and as we keep playing the game, you're going to be able to make a run from LA to New York. We do that in real life. We have one of the things about the company that I work for is that our claim to fame is that we can get a load from the west coast to the east coast in 24 hours, and we do that by using team drivers. Drivers where there's trucks where there's 2 drivers on the team, because the truck never stops rolling. You drive for 10 hours and then you turn around and have shift change, and the other driver drives for 10 hours while the other, driver is in the sleeper berth. So you do make those runs, you can make those really, really long runs, and that's a 30 plus hour drive, so as a solo driver, which is what you are here in American Truck Simulator, you're not a team, there's no multiplayer aspect of it. You can make runs like that, and that's a 30-something hour drive, so that would actually take you quite some time. You figure you have to stop every 10 to 13 hours for your driver to sleep, so that's 3 times you have to stop and sleep on a drive, which he sleeps for like 11 hours, 10 or 11 hours, and that could take you several in-game days. And so I'm like, well, okay, so you're going to increase this map by 30%. That's awesome. Make these drives a little bit longer. But what's going to happen when you open up the United States in the game? As the game progresses further east, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think that eventually you're going to have loads that they just take so long, especially these external contracts, where like this one I have 12 hours of real time to complete the load. The real difference between external contracts from the World of Trucks website and freight jobs that are done internally within the game is that a freight job you'll have, it'll take you 22 hours to get to your destination, and the game itself, it'll give you like 30 something hours. This way you have enough time to stop and sleep. But if I pause and put the game down, turn the game off, and go do something, I can come back to the game 3 days later and pick right up where I left off. With the external contracts, you have 12 hours. I have 12 hours of real world time to complete this contract. So what that means is that if I put the game down and go do some stuff, and I don't get to pick it up till tomorrow afternoon, I will have run the job clock down to 0, and my load will be late. I will literally get, so if I have like a $26,000 load that's going to pay me $26,000, by the time all my penalties and late fees get hit with me, I only make like 13. I make half of what I would have made normally. So I think that by increasing the map size, especially as the United States gets bigger and more open, you're going to have, aside from your die-hard American truck players, a lot of us, especially those of us like me that have families, I can't sit down for 2 hours and drive from LA to New Jersey. I just can't do it. I have stuff with kids. I have, stuff to do that involves family time. So I think that that's going to be kind of a bigger pain than it's worth. And I think that the original plan for why they did the map size as long as they did was simply because they knew that it was going to be too big. The U.S. is going to get a lot bigger, but I don't know if their, players have been, saying, oh, it doesn't take me that long, it's too small, and SCS has bowed, or even SCS looked at the game and said, well, maybe this is just a little too small, so let's increase the map size by 30%. 30% is a pretty big increase. It's going to make the game map a lot bigger, but also it allows for them to stick more towns in the game. With the current map size the way it is, one of the things that they do really well in these games is they give that sense of the haul. Long distances in between cities, because there are cities in the U.S. where you get out of the city and it'll be 2-3 hours before you see another city. So, or in Montana, where I'm from, you leave where the city that I lived in, and you drive an hour south and you run into Helena, and then you drive another 2 hours south and you run into Butte. And there's little tiny like cow towns and mountain towns kind of peppered in between there, but there's nothing like that huge. You just run into some small stuff. And so the U.S. can be a bit of a drive. It's not ridiculously populated. So I think that they're kind of trying to convey that sense while still populating the world effectively. And with the map size, the current size that the map is, if they were to stick more towns, if they were to stick, some of the suburbs around LA and some of the suburbs around Sacramento and San Francisco, I think that the map would just become too crowded. It would feel way too much like Coruscant from Star Wars, where the world is just one gigantic city. You're never really out of a city. So maybe increasing the map size will allow them to add more cities. So I think maybe that could be kind of cool. But I'm worried about size of the game. I'm worried about how long it's going to take me once, we can go into Colorado and go into Kansas and, into Illinois and the Dakotas. I'm worried about, is it going to be too long of a drive? Is it going to make me not want to, take that time, that hour and a half to 2 hours to drive from one coast to the other? I think one of these days I will put up a Euro Truck video, and maybe we'll take a job, and you can kind of see the differences between American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator, because Euro Truck Simulator is a fantastic game. I have so much time invested in that game, and American Truck Simulator is the one that I was really waiting for. As soon as they announced it, I got really excited. So I feel kind of bad. I've really neglected American Truck Simulator, or Euro Truck Simulator, since American Truck Simulator came out. So maybe one of these days I'll start putting up Euro Truck videos, and because that is a fun game. They've done a lot of great stuff. I think that they've got most of continental Europe opened up to it. They've got the game kind of the way they want it to, and so yeah. So let's see how much sleep we got about 2 hours. So we're going to pull into this truck stop here, and we're going to let our guy sleep, because we only have about 5 hours, 5.25 hours until we get to our stop. But we also need to put some gas on the truck and fill up. All right. Pull our load of sand into the fuel pump here. All right, so we're gonna fill up real quick. Up, somebody else is hauling loads of sand. So they kind of did a pretty good job with these truck stops. When a driver, a real life driver, especially with the company that I work for, when they get going on a journey, actually their stops are mapped out for them. And what I mean by that is they're supposed to, our company uses specific truck stops. So truckers just don't stop at any old truck stop they want to. At least not in our company. They might in other companies. I think Allie McKnight, who drives for Jim Palmer, she's also a YouTuber. Go check her out. She does some really great, entertaining videos. Come on. Yeah. All right. Engine off. Sleep. She tends to go to just about any truck stop, and I think that is her trucking company kind of allows that, whereas with ours, we use... Oh, we're going to have to wait for the low air pressure. Let's step on the gas. She kind of uses any truck stop that she comes up across, but with ours, we use specific truck stops, and our drivers are only allowed to stop at certain ones. So the system says, okay, gas is cheapest here. You're going to put enough gas in your truck to get to this point. And, so the trucks have that schedule to follow. So where you see me pulling in and I just kind of pull into any truck stop I feel like, real truck drivers, they don't really get to do that. Come on. A little bit more. There we go. Alright, so let's back this baby up. It's kind of nice when you don't have a truck next to you. And I've never seen a motel at a truck stop. You know, most of the time the drivers stay in the cabs of their truck. The only time they ever stay in a hotel is if, you know, a student is going for their upgrade, or if something is wrong with the truck and the truck's going to be down for a couple of days, then the drivers will stay in a hotel. But drivers generally don't, because your sleeper cab is there, everything you have is in there, and you know, drivers do get relatively comfortable in the sleeper. You know, they generally don't spend their money on a night at a hotel. Most truck stop facilities have showers, they have movie theaters. I mean, they have kind of some cool stuff set up for the drivers, in terms of amenities. So most truckers aren't willing to spend, you know, $120 to stay at a hotel for the night. But I'm sure there are some that do, you know, because sleeping in a bed is pretty much a luxury, I'm sure, when you're on the road. So we should get there here in a couple of hours. This was kind of a short trip. This is kind of the trips that I want to do. I feel like we've got enough money in the bank. I played a couple of trips where I didn't put them on YouTube, and got myself up to a little bit of money. So we're going to start inching our way up until we can pay down the 2 loans that we've got and just pay them off so that they're not coming out of our account at all. You know, we'll start saving up some money, and I think that we'll get another truck and we'll put a driver in it. So I think that's kind of the way to go here. But yeah, so truck stops, you know, generally truck drivers, they have scheduled stops that they have to make, and their GPS tells them, and they get, you know, when they get the trip info, it's all programmed into the computer. So yeah. So this is kind of what driving at night was. You know, I had said that I want to try to keep it during the day, and the reason why I wanted to keep it during the day was so that the video was a little bit more interesting. You didn't have just a dark road with my headlights to look at, because there's only so much entertainment somebody can get out of watching this game and watching me kind of babble on about nothing. So, but it wasn't really economically cost effective. When it takes me 2 day cycles to deliver a load, you know, like I've said before, it takes $7,600 out of my account to pay for my loans in game. And, you know, when I cough up $15,200, you know, every trip, and I'm only making like 20,000. You know, I'm not in the black at that point. I'm actually in the negative. You know, I'm only making a couple of $1,000s a trip. So by making some longer hauls that I can run during the night, and running kind of the way it's supposed to, then I can actually stay ahead. So like this job here is only going to yield me about $10,000 because it's a smaller, shorter trip. Come on, truck, let's go. See, even truckers get annoyed with other truckers. It's a shorter trip. So if I'm actually only going to make about $2,500 to $3,000 off this trip, after my $7,600 in loans have come out. So, you know, I'm not really making that much money. So that's why those longer trips are important, but at the same time, it's hard on the videos to put up a 45-minute trucking video and expect you guys to stay completely riveted for the entire experience when you're watching 45 minutes of me rambling on and driving a truck. Oh, crap. I knew it. So there are these frickin' weird roads. I knew it. I should have kept going on a highway. You know, sometimes you've got to check your map. And the reason you've got to check your map is because they're supposed to be challenging, but they're more annoying than anything else, because it's this tiny road that a truck would never go down. and it's really windy, and your trailer will get caught up. There's just not enough room for your trailer to turn. Um, and for some reason, the game will oftentimes, when it sets a course, will go out of its way to take you out of your way to drive this stupid little road. And, I don't know. I've never seen anything like this. And I mean, being from Montana, I've seen roads like this. They're all over the place in Montana. But one place like I've never seen them is I've never seen a truck on a road like this. Like, see this thing? So we gotta try to turn our truck and stop our trailer from hitting any of those trees, because otherwise we'll do damage to the trailer, which will penalize our load money. And two, we're driving it at night, so all I can see is what's in front of my headlights, and you can see a good portion of my hood there blocks the road when we go up and down like that. A little rest stop up here. So I've never seen anything like this, and this is something that I wish SCS would just get away from, because like I've said, if we just look at the map, let's take a look at the map here. You can see I'm on this stupid road, right? And look at this. If we had just kept going up 5, right, gotten onto 580 and taken that into San Francisco, we'd have come right to the same spot. It wouldn't have taken, the game would have told me it would have taken longer, but it wouldn't have taken longer, because instead of creeping along this little road at 20 miles an hour, we'd have been doing 55 the whole time until we got into San Francisco, and then it would have dropped to 30. So that's what I said. The game kind of turns it into this like excursion. Look at this. I got to try to get my truck there and then make a hard right, and it's actually a pain in the butt to get out of here, because of course there's a retainer wall right at the end of the road, so I can't pull out and go around. I've got to make this sharp turn. Oh my god, it's such a pain in the butt, and I hate these little roads. And usually I look at my GPS, or I look at my map, and I look for the game to stick me on stupid roads like this, and I'll change the course, and it hasn't done it in a while. So I think I kind of got a little complacent. I started trusting the game a little more, and this is what I get for my trust, is this crap. Oh, adventures in truck driving. You see my trailer back there kind of almost hitting those rocks. I've got to stay to the far right side of the road to avoid hitting those rocks with my trailer. But like I said, the challenge will come when we want to get off of this road here in a minute. You can see it's kind of coming up there, and we got to make that sharp right turn. And like I said, of course there's going to be something in our way, so I've got to, I don't have the ability to pull way out and swing over. So hopefully, if we're lucky, we're coming down the hill now, so we got to right our brakes a little bit. In a manual transmission, I'd be able to just downshift and let my engine slow me down, but I have an automatic transmission. So alright, coming to the end here. Pizza Hut sign randomly placed. Yeah, I'm sure they get a lot of business, because people come into the Pizza Hut and they're like, hey man, I saw the sign on that randomly obscure road, and I was just like, man, I need some Pizza Hut. Of course, that is a mod. The Pizza Hut has in no way given SCS Software licensing rights to use their product. So somebody made a mod to create realistic billboards and realistic businesses, and that's what that is. That's a mod that I downloaded off the Steam Workshop. Alright, so we're at the end, and there's that gigantic... So what we got to do is I got to take this as wide as I can, because there's a retainer wall on either side as well. It's not open. So I got to take this as wide as I can to get my trailer around that corner. There we go. Luckily there's nobody coming. The road is semi-deserted, I guess you could say, so... Alright, we're going to kick it up to 55, try to make up some of the time we lost crawling through the mountains there. Realistically, we probably would have been there by now if we had just stayed on the highway. Like I said, it's been a while since the game's done that to me, so I started developing trust, and, well, the game just betrayed that trust. This is actually kind of a cool drive. This will take you from San Francisco to Santa Cruz in the game. And actually over there is the coast. So during the day, it's actually kind of a cool drive. You can see a ship off the shore there. You can see the waves rolling in. They did a pretty good job, creating that California coastline driving along the coast. But today it's night, so all you can see is what's in front of my headlights. Sorry folks, no digitized California coastline for you today. Tunnel. So this is the tunnel into San Francisco. Remember, slow down. Speed limit's 35. I'm doing 40 as I sped up to 55 there. There we go. So the effects in the tunnels are kind of cool. It kind of really accentuates going through a tunnel with that sort of hypnotic, the lights passing overhead thing going on. Oh, slow down to 30. Calm down, Kenworth. I know. Calm down, buddy. Alright, there we go. Big old Texaco trailer there. I bet we can drive that. Alright. So welcome to San Francisco. Again. This is like I think it's the second time we've taken a load from somewhere to San Francisco. There was actually the last video we did, and normally there will be a little bit of continuity. Normally it will match up, we'll arrive in San Francisco and then we'll leave from San Francisco. But like I said, I drove a couple of loads on my own to try to increase my money. So it looks like a big construction project over here. They're building another building. Of course, not really. SES does some clever stuff. Oh, there's a security guard, Frank. Frank is everywhere. Last time we saw Frank, he was at Walmart. Oh, crud, I'm going to get caught up on that fence. Oh, just a little bit, not much. Luckily, it didn't do any damage to the trailer. Oh man, saw that truck and I was like, am I going to fight with another truck for space? Because sometimes the game will do some goofy stuff. Alright. SCS is kind of clever, and they'll put roadway construction signs up, and that's kind of a clue that they're working on a road, or that they're working on, that road for the game. So a lot of these highways that you had in the game, see if it'll take it, had roadway. Nope, it's not going to take it. So we're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. A lot of the roadways for the game had road construction signs, like going into Arizona before the Arizona map pack was released. So it was kind of funny. I always thought that was kind of clever of them. Straighten it out. Parking brake on. Decouple the trailer. See a little crank there. And there we go. So that was that load, successfully delivered. We went 474 miles. In-game, took us an hour and 41 minutes, supposedly, 78 gallons of fuel, and that's my 31st contract completed. Of course, we only got $10,287 and 577 XP. It was kind of a short load. So that's it for today. That's it for this week's episode of Truckin' with Tuffy. As always, if you like what you see, give the video a like, give the channel a subscribe, and everybody take care.